This is where it all started about 4 months ago. This tweet from Dreps, the crazy CS2 item investor. He had a 15 factory new M4A4 howl investment worth $100,000 that he was putting on the line, and it got so much publicity. You can see this has almost 600,000 views. It was absolutely insane, and there's been so much drama and twists and turns and everything since then, and the story actually came to a conclusion today, and I want to talk about what's happened along the way, what's happened today, a lot of the conversation, drama, controversy, all of that stuff. But first, I wanted to plug my cash trading business really quick. If you guys are looking to cash out of any of your CS2 items, you have anything you don't want anymore, if you're looking to buy some new stuff, or maybe even cash out your entire inventory, start over, start fresh, or just have some cash, crypto, whatever in hand, hit me up on Twitter. We can definitely work out a deal. Just today alone, I spent around $1,200 on cash trades. I'm able to cash out people safely, quickly, efficiently, all that good stuff. You don't have to worry about getting scammed or anything like that, and you get it instant. You don't have to wait. So hit me up on Twitter. We can definitely get a deal done. I'm looking to buy stuff, got tons of funds ready to go, and you help support my channel and my content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So Dreps is an absolute madman. This has been such a fascinating story for me to follow. And if you guys don't know about it, Dreps, again, September 2nd, 2023, he tweeted out this. Hopefully my Counter-Strike 2 investment will be successful. 15x M4A4 howl factory new, which is just crazy. And I am super jealous because I love the howl. This is truly my favorite skin in the game. I love the art. I love the design. I love the color. I love the, the fact that it's contraband and all that stuff. Like, it's so interesting to me. It's so crazy. It's so cool. I hope to own a howl someday. I have not ever owned one. I want to get my hands on one. I think it would be so sick. It's really one of my, like, truly grail CS2 items. In fact, this guy has 15 of them factory new. Some of them really crazy. You know, we got some crown foils. We have some that are, like, pretty cool crafts and stuff like that, but just having this many of such a rare and iconic item was absolutely insane. But this was his idea for a CS2 investment. He was going to be buying these before CS2 released because he was expecting, CS2 to be this awesome, amazing release and the player base to explode, and these were going to go absolutely insane. He was going to own a ton of some super iconic items. The player base was going to go crazy, and these super iconic items were going to be in even higher demand, and the price was going to go from 100,000 to whatever. But again, he dropped $100,000 on these 15 howls, which is just an iconic investment in general. So yeah, I mean, he was ready to go, and obviously now 4 months have passed and we've gotten tons of updates and stuff along the way. So many people have been following this situation, and yeah, you can just kind of scroll through his Twitter and he just kind of keeps tweeting about it. 6 times sticker Fnatic Hollow DreamHack 2014 equals 1 factory new howl. He really just, this became like his whole like personality and stuff. There was a Twitter account that was even following his investment and stuff like that. He's saying he's going to buy number 16 soon. He kept talking about how he's going to DCA and keep buying more howls, and he just really became, like the howl guy. And you can see accounts tweeting about it. Dreps bought 15 M4A4 howls factory new. But of course, all did not go well. We know what happened with the CS2 release. It was kind of an absolute disaster, and things started to go bad. He said currently in the negative 10%. This was September 28th, like 3 or 4 weeks after his investment. Currently in the negative 10%, but no need to sell or rush to any rash decisions. Dime in hands. He said, okay, more like minus 5%, whatever. So things start going down. Then a couple days later, he says, okay, now it is minus 10,000. No problem. Just hodling. Seems like skin prices are starting to recover. He started to get a little bit excited. Maybe he's going to be okay. He tweets out diamond hands again. But as we know, the market obviously continued to drop, especially on some of these like more illiquid items and stuff like that, especially on some of the higher tier stuff that were bought kind of more as like speculative things, and people were expecting to make a lot of money off of and stuff like that. He gives us another update on October 28th. Now he's up to 16 factory new howls. He says currently negative 15,000, holding for long term. If howls continue to go down even more, then I'll heavily consider investing extra. Most CS2 skins went down even more than the investment item I chose. I am okay with the decisions I made. While I know my investment was very risky, I still decided to do it and have no regrets. Not every play is 9,000 IQ and will pay off within a couple of weeks. Yes, I could have invested into other skins and probably lost more money. Bayonet Sapphire, overall 0 regrets. So again, at this point, his 100,000 has been about 85,000, but again, that's fine. An investment shouldn't be, this is October 28th. This is 2 months after he made his investment. investments are not 2-month things. If you are trying to make a profit in 2 months, that is way closer to gambling than it is investing. And really, investments need years to play out, or sometimes decades, but at least like a year, or at least 1 year, or close to a year, something to actually see how it's going to play out. So judging something off 2 months really doesn't make sense. And he's saying a lot of the right things. He's saying, hey, if this keeps going down, I'm going to DCA, I'm going to buy more, I'm loving this, I'm diamond handing, I'm hodling, this thing is going to turn out well, I'm going to make a bunch of money eventually, I'm not really chilling out. Like, that all sounds great, and I do think that is really, really good. And obviously, eventually, that gets us to where we are today, where the big story, the big news is that Anomaly tweeted out this. He says, just did a $62,500 howl deal in my favorite pair of socks. You can see what his socks say, obviously. And then you can see the crazy screenshot that Anomaly has these M4A4 howls in his inventory now. And he made a video about it, and he did all that. We can see here, this is 13 of the howls. I think he said that Dreps sold off a couple of them on Buff already. So yeah, he doesn't have all 15 or 16 or whatever of them, but he had some of them still left, and Anomaly was able to pick them up in bulk. And then again, I am so jealous once again, because now this is another person, and Anomaly getting them at a great price and at a great deal. I believe Neil says in the comments here, yeah, Neil says 89% buff, which is another problem with this whole thing. We're going to get into why Dreps sold and all of that stuff, but that's the thing you guys have to keep in mind, that when you are selling, you're going to be paying some kind of fees. If you're selling on Steam Market or a third-party marketplace or a cash trade or whatever, you're going to be paying some kind of fee, and that's just the price of doing business. That is what selling entails, and that's not always necessarily bad if you are going to be, selling for a reason, or cashing in your gains, or you really need money, or you're switching up things entirely or whatever. But these people who constantly want to, like, oh, I'm going to buy this thing, and then I'm going to sell, and then I'm going to buy this thing, and then I'm going to sell, and you keep buying like the flavor of the month and the flavor of the week stuff. It's fine, but it's even worse when you're selling out of one thing to get the money to buy into the new flavor of the month thing, because those fees and the that type of stuff is going to just eat into your gain so much. So not only did Dreps obviously lose a bunch of money on these howls because they went down, then he goes to sell and pays an 11% fee for selling and getting that instant cash out and that bulk buy and all that stuff, which I do think is a good deal, obviously as a cash trader and stuff, but still it is a cost that makes him end up losing even more. And then, this 100,000 ends up turning into 62,000. Now, obviously, this was only for 13 of the howls, not 15 or 16 or whatever, but still, maybe throw a couple that, call it 70,000, whatever, say you lost 30,000, and people are making fun of Dreps now, and rightfully so. Yes and no. Obviously, this investment was very, very public, and obviously it didn't go well, but again, this was only 4 months, but I think one of the most rightful criticisms that people have of him is this was literally him buying high and selling low. He literally bought at not the peaks of the CS2 hype, but he bought at a pretty inflated time in the market. And then as things went down and down and down, he talked about being diamond hands, and he talked about, wanting to buy more and all that stuff. And then his actions didn't really follow up. And then 4 months after making this huge $100,000 investment, being so public and saying, oh, this is going to be great, this is going to be amazing, he's already sold out. That is a little bit weird. That is a little bit strange. Now, I don't think it's automatically terrible, because as we can see, he has, been tweeting about this and everything, and some of this doesn't necessarily make sense, but he says, recouped my losses on howls, made profit instead of loss, cooking something big. What does this mean? Again, if we go to his page now, we can see what he has been cooking up, and it is actually something pretty crazy, pretty impressive, and pretty cool. He says, let me sleep. I'll post about the stickers and prices and how much I got them all tomorrow on stream, but link in bio. And he decided to drop this absolute heater on us, a full Katowice 14 hollow collection. iBuyPower, Titan, LDLC, Navi, Fnatic, Hellraisers, everything. He's got the skull, he's got the wolf, he's got dig, he's got everything, a full collection, which is just absolutely insane. Now, obviously, this makes me wonder a little bit, hey, this guy's just kind of hopping around from like big, crazy speculative investment to big, crazy speculative investment. But in the long term, obviously, I think Katowice 14s are going to do very well, and I think howls are going to do very well as well eventually. I think it's a little bit strange that, again, he was so public about how amazing the howls are going to be, and then he sells out of them to buy into something else. But if he thinks this is the better opportunity, then it could make sense to do that as well. So I get what he is saying, because that's what, he's saying, like, hey, I found a better opportunity. I believed in something else. And just because you bought something doesn't mean you should just hold on to it and go down with the ship and forever. You should constantly be thinking, evolving, and changing. And I think that's great. And I do think that is pretty sound advice overall. But again, you do have to be careful about buying low and selling high, buying high and selling low, buying into hype and then selling low during crashes and stuff. But if you're rebuying other stuff, then it doesn't really matter that much. But again, one of my main criticisms here would be selling and having to pay that 11% fee and ending up with less money and stuff like that. I did think it's funny as well that people were kind of clowning him because he says, made profit instead of loss. And Neil is like, not hating or anything, bro, but what do you mean profit instead of loss? I thought you bought it like 100,000. He says, profit from other investments is greater than my loss. Just lost potential profit, but never lost money. And Neil says, hey, well, I mean, normally in investing, we treat each investment separately. You still lost 40,000 on this, and it was a terrible investment looking at that percentage. But if your net worth went up, then great, which is true. Yes, you did make a bad investment. That doesn't mean your whole portfolio is bad, or that doesn't mean you didn't make other good trades or couldn't have made some other good moves, but still, this was a bad investment. Trying to spin it as something, that it's not, doesn't really make sense. But I do also, it's just weird because there's so many sides to this. I also do agree with what Dreps was saying that, yeah, maybe this howl wasn't that good, but the entire market was going down. It's not like there was a ton of great places to put your money and Dreps picked the wrong thing. It's just like, he bought at a time where the whole market was going down. And if he just would have held for the long term, I think it would have went back up. And again, he didn't take that money out of the market. He just kind of altered his portfolio and changed things around, which I don't think is even that bad. So I do think, he deserves a little bit of being made fun of because it's just a huge public hilarious situation, and he did lose a lot of money and he made a bad choice, and he did buy high and sell low and all that stuff. But at the same time, he also was just kind of reconfiguring his portfolio and doing what he thinks is going to better set him up for success. Now, I do think it is a little bit concerning to be changing your mind this drastically and this extremely in just a couple of months, and I don't think you should be that kind of all over the place and chaotic. I don't think 1 month you should be like, oh, howls, and then, oh, Cattle 14s, what's it going to be next month? But if that's what he wants to do, whatever. I think that is pretty speculative. Again, I think that is more closer to gambling. I think you should buy stuff and then have a way of getting funds and then buy more stuff, or maybe sell it for a profit and kind of reinvest those profits or stuff like that. I think he has a weird, interesting strategy going on here, but hey, if it's going to work for him, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But he did, lose like $30,000, $40,000 on this huge howl investment. But he now has himself a very, very crazy Cattle 14 collection. And I guess now the story is going to be starting to follow how this investment and how this all is going to go. Again, it looks like he's going to tell us much more about this on Twitter. Maybe we'll cover that in a future video. I don't know. But yes, this is the story of, I guess, like the $100,000 disaster that was Dreps' howl investment. But now Anomaly ends up with a really good and exciting purchase and deal. And I think he's going to make a lot of money off those howls as well, which again makes me really jealous. But yeah, pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Again, if you're looking to sell any items, cash out of your inventory, whatever, hit me up over on Twitter. Have a good day, guys. Peace.